Hey everyone, welcome to your weekly Glam Guidance with Glam on Demand. Today I want to introduce you to our artist, Natalie.
Hey everyone.
She's going to tell us a little bit more about how she got started in the industry, and then we're going to go into what she does now as well as artistry. So Nat, tell us how you got started in the industry.
Without going into like a really long story of the day I walked by a Mac counter and all of those kind of things, I just always really loved beauty. I loved makeup, and I come from immigrant parents who would not let me go to beauty school. So I went to college first, and then I went to beauty school and took out my own loans. I really thought hair would be for me, and it wasn't. And then I had like a friend that kept pushing me towards like beauty industry, and I worked for Stila, and that's how it started.
That's how it all started.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you definitely worked for many brands over the years. And then I know that on top of artistry, you found a new love for like marketing. So what got you into marketing?
Also another thing that I don't want to go down this huge rabbit hole. But I'm a big believer that there's so many signs that lead you here. So when I was a national educator for Japanesque, and even before that, when I worked for the hair care brand we will never name, since it was such a small hair care brand, and Japanesque is actually like a really small company with headquarters, you're heavily involved in building education, which was always my love and passion. But then it's like, how do you market that, and what was working in the field, what was working when I was teaching classes, and being on photo shoots and watching products and photo shoots like not match up, or all of that kind of creative direction. So I feel like that led me more and more into the marketing aspect of the beauty industry. And then when COVID hit, I was like, okay, well, I can't work in the same aspect I was working. So what can I do to really bring in money and like sustain this name that I was creating for myself?
Totally. Well, let's rewind back to education. So you were talking about like educating with, brands and all of those things. How do you match your education with marketing? Like, how do you teach? I know you have like an actual like marketing agency. Like, how do you teach your people and educate in your space?
I love that you said this to me, because I said to someone the other day, like, I never in my entire, and even my partner was like, I never thought you would leave makeup education. And I don't think I ever completely will. I think education and commercial work will always be the strong point for me. But I think it really proves that like I'm still doing education. I'm still a leader. I still focus on trends and those same things. So with like marketing, I really try to take situations from like how you market yourself like when we all started in salons and stuff. We have been, as beauty professionals, like marketing ourselves since day one, but we make a ton of expensive mistakes. So I spend a lot of time like helping people remove the same mistakes, or like really connect with the audience and like dumb it down. I feel like we all are the expert, and so sometimes we utilize like that verbiage that I'm like, that does not translate to a client. And I get it, you know me, I was like, I'm anti-basic, right? Like I'm constantly like, I don't want to use that word, that's basic. I don't want to do that, I didn't want to do that. I didn't even want to start a YouTube channel for years, because I kept being like, I don't want to do how to do a smoky eye, right? It's like about creating niches and creating specialties and thinking outside of the box to market yourself to that ideal client, so you can do the type of work like you want to do.
And what sets you apart from every single other person that is doing the same thing in the same space. Makes perfect sense. I do want to rewind also back to the beginning of artistry. So what got you talked about joking around about like walking past the Mac counter, but like really what got you to where you are in your career right now? Like what do you think was some of the most important pivotal moments for you?
I think that's loaded.
It is a loaded question.
Oof.
Well, I think that the reason I'm asking is like we talked about education and how education is important, and on previous episodes we've talked about like the resources out there and the classes and the this and the that. How did you decide what you needed to do to get yourself where you are?
I think I'm lucky, and I don't mean I'm like everything falls in my lap. I think I am lucky in the sense of the people around. Am I allowed to cuss?
I don't care.
Oh, the people that are around me really fuck with me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, I mean, I'm standing next to someone that, or sitting technically, next to someone that really fucks with me and has my success in mind. So I think, you know, talking about Stila, like pivoting into Stila, a really good friend, which you know, gave me that opportunity and was like, I think my bosses will love you. And Stila put me on like 17 magazine. Like we did New York Fashion Week. We did all of these crazy things as a company. And I remember when she set me up with that interview and the portfolio I gave them. Oh my God. But those, and then those
we
two.
don't rewind to those things. We just forget they ever happened.
Those two people that I interviewed with became pivotal parts of my career and are still cheerleaders today. So like there's 3 people from the very beginning of my career that like were like, yep. I remember in that interview, he was like, oh, we can fine tune this artistry for sure, but I cannot teach someone how to be a leader. And I feel like it's, you know, we also, I know you've talked in previous episodes about Crystal. I think I've just had the right people in my corner who really were like, yeah, we know that we can make this work.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So
I think that that's a lot of things that people forget is the networking aspect of our job. And I know we talk about this a lot, but how small the beauty industry really is. You might think that, you know, California is the other, because we're on the East Coast, guys, you know, on the other side of the country, but really, like, they're so intertwined that you have to, like, be careful on who, what you do and how you do it in the industry.
Yeah,
and
I mainly work for West Coast brands.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so, well, you talked about so many different things in there, and one thing that stood out to me was about niches. So that's going to be our next episode, guys. So this isn't, you know, goodbye forever, but we'll see you next time so you can learn about niches.